Now, one local pastor has taken his message beyond the church walls and onto the pages of a new book called Bus Church 2020. Northern News Now's Hannah Morgan spoke with the author to learn more about the inspiration behind the book and the road that led him there. Hannah?
Yes, good morning. So Pastor Jeremy Landgreen of Superior has added author to his title with the recent release of his book, Bus Church 2020. Now, the book reflects on how his church's outreach efforts aimed to support the community during the pandemic. And the book is about how Twin Ports Outreach used a bus for community support. In 2020, they would use their church bus as public transportation, taking Northlanders from place to place, even offering hot food. Each chapter details what Landgreen learned from each person he met and what it meant to his personal journey.
You know, maybe it's not a fun time to look back at, but it'll be a time that they can look back at and they can be encouraged by what, even through difficult times, there's were amazing things happening.
And for those interested, the book can be found at Foxes and Fireflies, Booksellers, and Artistic Florals by Leslie, and they are both in Superior. And we will have more information on our website, but for now, I'll send it back to the desk.